Yellow flag is in the air here at the TireRack.com Starters Bridge. The Expel Grand Prix weekend at Road America just about gets set for qualifying for the Radical Cup North America. Up next here from America's National Park of Speed. My name is Eric Miller, the voice of Road America, welcoming Tom Drewer alongside for Radical Cup North America. It's time to go fast on a Fast Friday. It's the Radical Cup North America qualifying here from America's National Park of Speed.
And cars trickling out of pit lane. Of course, 25 minutes will set the grid for race one. Going into this round, the point scores. Wayne Williams is in the lead of the Platinum class on 225 points from Steve Jenks. Just 8 points behind, rather. Ben Blander sits third in the championship, another 3 points back. It's very, very tight at the top of the Platinum class. Chip Roma will be right in the hunt as well. And as we saw from this morning's two practice sessions, Louis Schreiber in the 111, the Wisconsinite, will be one to watch around Road America. In Pro 1500, it's Raiden Nicol, who has been the star of the show this year. 6 wins, would you believe, from 6 starts. Nothing, it seems, can stop this young man. Yesterday, though, a trip to the barrier at the exit of the carousel. A big night of work for Primal Racing, getting that car back in the fray. Chassis work had to be done. The welder was out. In fact, help from Team Stradale, one of the local teams here, putting Raiden Nicol back in contention. Jack Yang sits second in the points. Austin Riley third. Jack Yang leads our gold subclass as well for those drivers over 30 in Pro 1500. Spencer Schmidt, Sam Schmidt's son, is right in the thick of things too, as is Mike Anzaldi. And so Pro 1500 will be hotly contested. I would say watch out too in this session for Vaughn Glace. He won on debut in Pro 1340 out at Barber Motorsports Park last time round. He stepped up to Pro 1500. And speaking of Pro 1340, it's Brady Clapham, Mr. Consistency, who is in a strong position in the championship, over 50 points ahead of Kenny Nail. Dermot Ennis is third in the points, and Mike D'Ambrose Sr. sits fourth. I suspect he might be the man to beat in this qualifying session. Of course, qualifying is all about outright speed. Bragging rights are on the table, as well as points for the class polls. It's time to turn up the heat in the Radical Cup North America Series.
Absolutely, Tom. And 22 minutes left here. Obviously, first flying lap, timing line at Road America for the qualifying sessions at turn 14, usually. Believe that's where the open wheel timing line is. Not quite certain if we're down there as well or if this is at start-finish.
At start-finish.
But in this situation, you've got a little bit of that run up to the hill then to build some momentum, maybe use the advantage of a tow here down this long Road America straightaway to try to get a little bit of benefit of the slipstream. But these qualifying sessions, it usually takes about 2 or 3 laps to get these tires up to temperature and into an optimal range, but we're aided in the fact that the sun is out now. So this is a lot different than practice this morning.
Lot different. Of course, the track is starting to rubber in a little bit. As you mentioned, the surface is free of precipitation and standing water for that matter. And it's a different conditions, but we'll wait and see who can lay down the gauntlet in each of the 3 classes. Of course, people are just really vying for track position at the moment, trying to get a good, clean run around Road America. You can also pick up a couple of slipstreams. But
looks like we may have a slow car on the exit of 12 going up and maybe back underway. So somebody trying to find a gap, but there was a white flag.
Raiden Nicol.
Yeah.
So Raiden Nicol, who should be the class act in Pro 1500, just trying to find some space. 30-odd cars around this racetrack. And drivers using a fair bit of exit too, coming onto the front straightaway. So now we'll start to see some times. It's John Field who sets the first indicative one in the SR10 machines, Platinum. He's fastest in that class, a 207.6. Wayne Williams back in the 210s at the moment. Same with Scott Wagner. Steve Jenks in the 211s. So John Field has found some time early on. He's certainly put in a strong lap to begin with. Jack Yang sets the pace in Pro 1500, and it's Mike D'Ambrose Sr. who is fastest in Pro 1340. So obviously that has affected, that traffic did affect the 93 of Raider Nicole, because he's nowhere at the moment in terms of the timing charts. So lucky to get away with that incident yesterday. It was a bit of a learning moment, I would say, for a young driver, just offline, late in the day, in practice. There was sort of nothing to gain and everything to lose. Unfortunately, it was a long night for Primal Racing out of Atlanta Motorsport Park. But they've done the job to get this car back on track. Same too with One Motorsports re-prepping a new car for Wayne Williams. In fact, it was a fellow Radical Cup competitor that we typically see out here, Jason Greenwood, who lent his car to Wayne Williams so that he could continue on. Important for both those drivers, leading the points in their respective championships. And Wayne Williams still sits second, fastest. John Field's time. That was a cracker of a lap to come out with a 207.6 right at the start. Austin Riley sits second in Pro 1500.
Williams to the top of the board at 206.919. Fast time for Wayne Williams in that 57 machine. Just clipped a lap that we've kind of been waiting for all weekend. Time to turn the wick up a bit.
Time to turn the wick up indeed. The track, as you say, just getting better and better now as the afternoon goes on. Let's see what these guys can do out there. We certainly know that a 1500 will do a 209, so you'd say the track a little bit slow at the moment as Spencer Schmidt is fastest in that class at the moment at a 214. So plenty of time to find, if you can, amongst the traffic out there. Slipstreams can certainly play a role. There's teammates out there, so whether or not we'll see any particular antics, who knows? The Hankook rubber does certainly come in over the session. It's a relatively hard compound, and that just means the more and more surface temperature that's generated, as you can see, the lights flicking and flashing on some of these cars. Drivers, no doubt, screaming underneath the visor, "Get out my way, I'm on a fast one." But of course, everyone has the same right out there to try and make their way around this stunning circuit and qualify as high as they can.
And one of the things about these qualifying sessions, of course, we talk about the toe. It's a little breezy here, so you've got a headwind coming up the main straightaway here at Road America, but that means that on the other two straightaways you have a tailwind, and the faster of the three straightaways is actually between turns 3 and into the braking zone for turn 5. That's one of the fastest places on the racetrack, and with a tailwind, that could upset the cars under braking a little bit into turn 5. That provides a little bit of lift, so a lot of that wing that you're expecting to provide some downforce and weight into turn 5 under that heavy downhill braking, that wind, a stronger tailwind there, is going to kind of pick that wing up. It does the opposite. It actually takes away some of your rear braking capability into turn 5. So that's something to kind of play into the balance of this qualifying session as well.
The 68 of Steve Jenks was pushing hard. We could see him going through that final turn, using all the runoff or exit curb and more. And Steve Jenks now up to second quickest, eclipsing John Field's time. He's done a 207 flat.
15 and a half minutes remaining here in the session, just about halfway through. And not a surprise to see Williams on top of the board. But John Field slowly building up that speed in that 37 machine as well. Louis Schreiber in fourth right now. Blander, and Wagner, your top 6, all in the platinum category right now. But Steve Jenks, that 68 machine, really nice lap, second quick right now at 2:07.049 for Jenks in the 68.
And Jack Yang is repeating his fantastic performance from a year ago. Jack Yang at the top of the charts in Pro 1500. Spencer Schmidt still looking good as well. So Graham Rahal performance has done a good job this weekend getting Spencer Schmidt up to speed. Luke Kendall, a young gun out of Primal Racing, a rookie as well. He's really doing a solid job, third quickest at the moment. I'm eagerly awaiting a proper time for Raiden Nicol. We haven't seen one yet.
And they did have some other additional problems. It looked like they had a little bit of maybe a little bit of the front splitter drag early on in that morning session. They seemed to pick up a little bit of pace in the second practice session, but still were not quite up to speed yet. There was some considerable damage to the left front of that car. Certainly, no doubt, want to make some adjustments. Got a couple cars on pit lane. Looks like they are working on the left front right now.
Yeah, it does. Raiden Nicol is in pit lane now. These cars are under Parc Ferme conditions, of course. There might be some leeway given by the officials, but that's not a good sign for the 93. Obviously, that issue yesterday, and as so often happens with a big off, sometimes some little extra niggles coming your way, some ramifications further down the line. And that has taken Raiden Nicol out of contention, really, in this session. That leaves Jack Yang at the top of the charts in Pro 1500. Austin Riley right up there now as well. Luke Kendall, Spencer Schmidt relegated to 4th fastest. Valen Venkatesh, the younger of the two Venkatesh brothers, doing a solid job, 5th fastest. And we'll just check out the Pro 1340 class, because that also is hotly contested this weekend. Mike D'Ambrose Sr., faster than the Canadian Brady Clapham, who leads the championship points in that class at the moment. So we mentioned there are a lot of young guns in this series, but there's a few old dogs with plenty of tricks. And Mike D'Ambrose Sr. knows how to wheel a Pro 1340 Radical SR3 around this racetrack. There's no doubt about that. He's always been ultra quick, loves his motorsport, and he's gone purple in Sector 1.
Interesting to note, that is still in the session 20th fastest, but the leader in the Pro 1340. But someone who's struggling a little bit this weekend, which is a little rare, but Richard Urshay in that 71 machine, kind of struggling a little bit. 13th in the Pro 1500 class, 21st overall. Not a lot of pace out of that car this weekend.
You're right, actually. Richard's a long-time Radical competitor, loves Road America as well, loves being a part of these big IndyCar events, and at the moment, not quite doing the business. One of our gold class competitors as well. Andy Lowe, the Englishman, is impressing me, though. 8th fastest in that Pro 1500 class. You've got to remember, there's a lot of young guns in that class. So at the end of the day, there's guys that are trying to impress in front of this IndyCar paddock. And Austin Riley, Vaughn Gleiss, we mentioned he might be one to watch, and he's 3rd fastest now in Pro 1500. So Vaughn Gleiss, proper performance driver, is getting right up there. Wayne Williams, back on top of Pro 1500 from Louis Schreiber. Wayne Williams, what a way to recover for him. Using a spare car, certainly not in familiar equipment, and has put all of that drama and chaos from yesterday evening aside, and has done a 2:06.9. John Field with some work to do. 4th fastest for the former American Le Mans Series champ. Right behind him, it's an SCCA runoffs champion in Chip Roma. So the depth of the Platinum field is there. And when you look down the list, Ben Blander, 7th quickest at the moment. He could easily be on a podium and was on the podium at Sebring in the first round. So it just shows that, we got a yellow flag into turn 12. Looks like the green flag's flying, but I wonder whether we've got a car just on the inside of 12. And the blue flag's been waved furiously as well. The class is distinguished by those day glow stripes on the rear wing. Green indicating the 1340 class, red indicating 1500, and yellow indicating platinum, using those Ford EcoBoost engines with 430 brake horsepower, 380 foot-pounds of torque from those things. And they really get on and boogie. In fact, bit of a handful are the SR10s. If you like high horsepower like Wayne Williams, coming from sprint cars and dirt track, Wayne Williams jumped into the SR10, absolutely loved these rocket ships, but it's taken him a while to come to grips with the downforce, with all the grip of wings and slicks. He was happy in the wet weather conditions, and now he is more than happy on the tarmac. The Canadian lives in Texas now, but he really found his feet at the Toronto street race last year and has had a solid season so far, but it's still yet to take a debut win for the year. We expect to see him on top of the podium at some point. Could it be this weekend? Certainly, with the fastest time so far in the Platinum class. He's starting the weekend in style, but there's still 8 minutes remaining. I don't want to curse this, but we've had a clean session so far.
We'll knock on Formica here.
Good to see. Just seems like everyone has found the tarmac that they need. Almost appears as though the sort of pressure, if you like, the pressure cooker that is qualifying, has just calmed down a little bit. The charts have been pretty static for the last couple of minutes. We're not seeing a huge amount of movement. Mike D'Ambrose is still quickest in Pro 1340 from Brady Clapham. Dermot Ennis sits third. Kenny Nail fourth. Aaron Ziegler fifth in class. Andy Lowe through again. Venkatesh with Spencer Schmidt behind. So Spencer Schmidt chasing down a former teammate. Spencer Schmidt running his debut campaign with Cameron Racing out of California and now running for Graham Rahal Performance, the Indianapolis-based Radical dealer. Numerous dealers around the country. And you can just see that. So the notes from the race director was, at the end of the day, you can use whatever bits of tarmac and curb there are. Bit hard to penalise the drivers running off track. In theory, they're not meant to have four wheels across that white line. But
it's a risk versus reward aspect of a lap here at Road America. There are places that you'll certainly be impacted more by getting all four tires off into the rumble strips, such as the exit of 5. There's not a lot of grip if all four wheels are off on the rumbles, but you can make up a little bit if you get just kind of across the rumble strips on the exit of 14, kind of maximize the apex angle and try to put the power down a little early. So there are areas where it does help, but there are a lot more consequences there. And someone has pulled a stride again.
Yeah, and I think that looks like Wayne Williams again.
And that was Wayne Williams pulled over in the same spot earlier this morning as well.
Yeah, so I did find out. So the red flag flies. We have got effectively 5 minutes up our sleeve. So the clock will stop. 5 minutes 41 remains on the clock. If we can clean this up quickly, within 5 minutes, we'll get the entire session in its entirety, the 25 minutes in. If we're longer than 5 minutes in the cleanup, the clock will start again. But yeah, Wayne Williams, so the issue was he'd run wide and the car overheated. And so that's why he pulled off earlier today. We'll wait and see if it's the same outcome this time. At the moment, no, I mean, it's tight. Louis Schreiber is within 800ths of a second of Wayne Williams. But it's one thing to be 800ths within that time. It's another thing to find the extra 800ths. And you say, well, how is that possible around this racetrack? But these drivers are so evenly matched. Of course, they're all using the same equipment. This is spec racing. So whilst you can set up the springs differently, the sway bars, obviously you've got different aero you can play with, the tyre pressures, the general alignment of the car, and for that matter, the ride height. The reality is these machines are evenly matched with what you get to play with. And these drivers have been pushing each other, not just this season, but for about the last 5 seasons. The level of competition has just elevated and elevated. So all the drivers coming back to pit lane under the red flag. Raiden Nicol has got in a fast time. So before that red flag, he went to the top of the charts in Pro 1500, a 2:12 flat. I'm sure there's going to be some questioning in terms of that car being observed and checked on pit lane. So these are provisional results at the moment. Obviously, all the cars will have to go through Parc Fermé, and some of them more in-depth tech. But Wayne Williams, top of the charts in the Platinum class. Raiden Nicol, fastest in Pro 1500. And I think it's Mike D'Ambrose who is still quickest in Pro 1340. Indeed it is. So at the moment, the championship implications, what would they be? An extra point for Wayne Williams. That would extend his lead. Raiden Nicol would kind of keep this perfect score going. And we've had that car of Wayne Williams refire. So I suspect we can get this back underway. The red flag is being put away on the starter's gantry. And as soon as everyone gets... so actually, it looks like another car that was trundling around rather slowly. Wayne Williams' car... Oh, so it was being towed. And it's being towed reverse direction now, back down from turn 6 and into turn 5.
About 1 minute before rejoin session.
Yeah, I suspect as soon as the last car stops in their box, it'll be time to unleash how many thousand horsepower are sitting down in that pit lane at the moment. It's drivers with some work to do.
Green flag is out on the session, so the clock resumes. 5:41 on the clock at the rejoin.
And Spencer Schmidt leads the pack out of pit lane. So Spencer was, I would say Sam wasn't entirely encouraging him to get behind the wheel. Of course, it's hard not to follow in your father's footsteps, given Sam's legendary status in the sport. And Spencer had a deal with the old man. And in the debut season, he had to get a podium finish to continue on and secure another year. Well, at Laguna Seca, in front of his home Californian crowd, Spencer Schmidt did just that. I've never seen Sam be so elated and yet somehow be so frustrated at the same time. He was mighty proud of his son for coming up with the magic to, you know, to beat the bet, to win the bet, and to be back on the Radical Cup program for this year. It's fantastic to see generations of drivers come through the sport. We see so many generations come through in Radical Cup racing, usually some father and sons in the mix. We've got the brothers, the Venkatesh brothers. We're missing Ryan Persing this weekend from California. He's a fast young kid trying to follow in his older brother's Nick's footsteps. Nick won the championship a couple of years ago. That was a fantastic battle. We had the battle last year in Pro 1500 with Jordan Missig and his teammate, Nick D'Orlando. So, Chip Roma has found plenty of space. Louis Schreiber has too. So, the guys at the front of the Platinum class are not done yet. Louis Schreiber has a huge contingent of supporters here. It always means a lot for Louis Schreiber to take home a strong result in front of the Wisconsin crowd. He has to find 8/100ths of a second.
I think what impresses me most is obviously we've seen a couple of cars have trouble so far this weekend, and we talked about it in the practice session this morning as well. But the constant dealer support from the Radical Cup dealers, whether it's the Chicago area, out in California, but the dealer support for the customer cars, certainly continues here at the racetrack as well.
Absolutely, and you don't have to be a dealer to be a Radical Cup racing team. Lots of independent and professional racing teams get involved as well. But as you mentioned, they are supported by their local dealer. So Radical just introducing an authorized customer racing team program to recognize the top echelon of those privateer teams. We're under 2 minutes. So Louis Schreiber pushing hard. We haven't seen any change at the top of the charts in the Platinum class. Jack Yang still set second in Pro 1500. Brady Clapham hasn't managed to find the additional pace that he needs to pip Mike D'Ambrose. So a remarkably clean session. Fantastic stuff from Radical Cup. North America, everyone pushing hard. Spencer Schmidt really runs wide. Coming up the main straight, what can he do as he crosses the line for the penultimate time? There'll be about one more lap for everyone, I think. Luke Kendall still in the mix there. 5th fastest in Pro 1500. Austin Riley's 4th fastest. Vaughan Glace in his debut in that class has moved up to 3rd fastest. Jack Yang was quickest but got pipped by Raiden Nicol, who did have crew looking at the car and touching the car. So I dare say that pole position may be provisional for the moment.
It would appear that Nichols' car never left pit lane. It's still sitting on pit lane at the moment.
Yeah, but I think they did get in a lap at some point. So he's come back to the pits after that red flag and didn't go back out. Spencer Schmidt goes past the line. He can't improve. He's still 6th fastest. The checkered flag is now out. So everyone will be completing a lap. And of course, we are running to the checker flag. So it's extremely crucial that drivers finish off this lap. A short interval in this session. Otherwise, it's been green flag running. Wayne Williams, fastest in the the Platinum class. Louis Schreiber, second quickest. Steve Jenks, third fastest. John Field only manages fourth fastest. But a few drivers still finishing the lap. Here comes Brady Clapham. Spencer Schmidt just ahead of him. And up the hill they go. So Chip Roma has done all he can. So too has Louis Schreiber. Wayne Williams, the provisional pole sitter, the only man that could possibly still take that away is John Field. Austin Riley passes the checker flag as well. And Austin Riley will slot into fourth place. Fourth fastest in Pro 1500. Mike D'Ambrose Sr., his pole looks set as well. So a few more drivers just to finish this one. Mike Anzaldi crosses the line. He's 8th fastest in Pro 1500. Vaughan Gleis didn't even bother finishing the lap. So it looks to me like Rayden Nicol has recovered to take the provisional pole. Jack Yang sits second quickest in the session. Vaughan Gleis third in Pro 1500. In Pro 1340, Mike D'Ambrose takes a provisional pole from Brady Clapham and Dermot Ennis. And in the Platinum class, Steve Jenks third fastest. Louis Schreiber will start from the front row of the grid, but it will be Wayne Williams who takes the pole and will start 30 cars in this afternoon's race. And there we have it. An average speed of 114 miles an hour around this racetrack for Wayne Williams. That's quick.
It certainly get up and go on this Friday. Fast Friday qualifying sessions continue. Radical Cup North America. It's always interesting to see the way that these sessions kind of come down to the last couple of moments. You know that each team is trying to find that gap, but Williams not able to finish the session, ended on the flat toe, and Louis Schreiber coming up with a whale of a lap right at the end of that session. Just couldn't get there, though.
Just so close, and it must be heartbreaking to miss out by 0.08 of a second. But as you mentioned, I mean, look down the order. There's plenty of drivers in the 207s. This is going to be a fantastic battle in the Platinum class. Also, only about a second separating the top 4-5 in Pro 1500 as well. And with the breadth of that field, the depth of that field, young guns, older drivers as well. Jack Yang right up there. He's so quick around this racetrack. Loves a low downforce car. I think this is going to be an impressive race.
Top 5 separated by 0.781 seconds. Top 5 are inside less than 3/4 of a second.
Well, if that doesn't say competition, I don't know what does. We'll be looking forward to seeing these guys back out there. Good strong session from a few of these drivers as well. Austin Riley in the thick of things, 4th fastest in Pro 1500. And of course, big shout out to our pole man in Pro 1340, Mike D'Ambrose Sr. He's doing 3 events this year. Confirmed that he would be doing the World Finals at VIR in November. But he just does this part-time and has come out in a big way here at Road America and put it on pole.
Comes out swinging, and we'll go racing this afternoon for Radical Cup North America coming up at 5:10 on your Friday afternoon.